ladies in.
Yeah.
All right, come on in. So, all right, well, scoot over.
Get close. There we go.
Welcome, everybody, to Empowering Homeschool Conversations. My name is Peggy Ployer, and I'm the founder and CEO of SPED Homeschool, as well as the regular broadcaster here on Empowering Homeschool Conversations. This is a very different format than you're used to seeing every week. Usually my guest is on another screen in another place, but I've got 3 special guests sitting very close to me, and this is awesome. So we are coming live from our very first family camp that is a co-partnership between SPED Homeschool and the Joni and Friends Ministry, and that's why I'm wearing the t-shirts. So anyways, we are excited to just be broadcasting from here. We're not going to do the normal hour broadcast. We're just going to share this experience, and I've got to fly.
So do I.
Yes. That's part of camp, right? So anyways, I'm going to be watching your comments and seeing what you're doing. Creative Minds Homeschooling says hi. And you know what? I know, Nancy, we wish you were here with us. And I'm so saddened that your family's not feeling well. And I thank you for joining in with us. We're going to fill you in a little bit what's going on, and we're praying that your family will be here by the end of the week. So, Creative Minds Homeschooling, Nancy, we love you. So let's kick this off. I'm going to introduce some of these wonderful ladies around me, and they're going to share what they're doing as part of camp. I am the camp director this week, which has been fun and exhausting, and we just started yesterday. So anyways, but to my left is Martha Sides, and to my right is Barb Beck, and then I've got Kathleen from Bright Start Math that's also here, and she'll kind of tell us why do we have one of our partners here as well. So Martha, why don't you start out by telling us kind of how you got here and what you're doing, and just a little about the experience with camp.
I'm Martha Sides, and I am family coordinator this week, and getting the opportunity to get to know the families before they came and interview them and find out what their needs are. And my job is basically to make the camp a good experience for them. Whatever they need, whatever problems they have, that's my job to help solve those things. And it's been great. So I'm kind of everything. I have been very touched by the camp. I see families that are saying that they didn't know their child had not interacted with other children or out there out the pool having a blast last night. We're seeing moms come together and share very openly about each other and caring and encouraging each other. And I have 9 children, and 8 of them have special needs. So I wish there was something like this when my kids were little, and I'm so thankful to be able to be part of it this week.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here, Martha, because Martha is a detail-oriented person, and some of the things that families come with. So what are some of the things that families have said, we need this in order for camp, and we were able to accommodate?
We need an extra mattress to be put on the floor so we can put a tent built in to hold it, that it ties down. Mm-hmm. We need to have areas where we can have where they can go be distress sensory type
rooms,
which is camp provides, which is fantastic. Yes. We need some kids that need to be able to run, and we needed some runners that can run with them. It just varies. We had families that are in wheelchairs that needed special accommodations. We need refrigeration. Mm-hmm. Just everything you can imagine. And it's really neat between Joni and Friends and this camp together provide almost anything that a family could need. And it's been really encouraging. It's encouraging to see how many of the families are working together.
Yeah, that's really neat. We are becoming a family very quickly, and it's been awesome to see. So thank you, Martha, because you have made that possible by interviewing these families, finding out what they needed before they came, so that we were prepared and we were able to prepare the volunteers. So the families just came yesterday, but the volunteers came a day prior to that. And we started training them in, teaching them about different disabilities. some of them had never even been exposed to somebody who was affected by disability. And so Barb was a lot of part of that as our volunteer coordinator. And so can you tell us a little about that, Barb, and just maybe kind of how you got into that role first, how I sucked you into it?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was because of your podcast and, you know, tuning in just like other people are and finding out a little bit more. I mean, months ago, I heard about you shared the need and shared that there would be a partnership with Joni and Friends. And that ministry, Joni and Friends, has been for most of my life a very, very important and amazing organization. And so I've always been captivated by Joni Eareckson Tada's story, and that has helped inform, you know, my own personal life and my work, but also my home living with having a stepson who has autism, and just loving that ministry. So when I heard you were partnering, and this is the first time that I've even known Peggy in person. So
yeah, I know.
So
we've talked a lot online.
Yeah, online, but coming together has been amazing. And so that partnership between what you're doing and Joni and Friends, I'm just like, how can I help? So about 6 months ago, started talking about how can we bring on volunteers? How can we coordinate, you know, the skills, abilities, and interests of a volunteer with the similar skills, ability, well, you know, all the interests that our young kids or just our families in general, the needs that they have. So that matchup process has been amazing. And I just went over to the lunch area, and as I was walking with one of the families, I, you know, just asked them how's it going, and just checking in to see their experience. And they were just amazed that the matchup there's such a similarity. The parents have never been able to have the freedom to be able to just rest, relax, know that their son is looking forward to seeing their buddy, and when he saw them, it's actually a father and a son matched up with them, and when he saw them, he just lit up and was like, bye, I gotta go with my buddies. So that's the joy of what we're doing as far as with
it's that respite, respite for the families, the pairing that God could only lead to. And we had that meeting with our team of what buddy are we going to pair up with what family. Everything just kind of really fell in line. And but can
not because of our doing. Right, I mean,
exactly.
It's just that the Lord has his hand in that.
And we didn't know a lot of these volunteers when they first showed up, and some of them had no experience with disability at all.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that and just the process we took them through, and some of the anxieties that we were able to calm?
Well, the first, I guess, would say 15 minutes, the first hour, actually, it was like, you know, people were sitting there like, oh, you know, a little overwhelmed by the idea of doing something that they've never had exposure to before. Right. And so, and so just introducing what living with disability looks like, feels like, and trying to help people see, you know, what does that, looking through that lens, what might that be? And then, so we sort of just gradually moved from a brief overview introduction to more specifically about different, you know, disabling conditions that might be present here at camp, and how we might be able to address those needs based on typical things that you might see given just different disabling conditions.
Right. So, yeah.
That's kind of how we led people through that process. Yeah.
And even after the training, a lot of them had anxieties.
They did, and continue to have anxieties that, you know, there's many of us to just go address the issue, you know, help people to see, oh, I can use a timer for this, and then transition to the next thing, or use a picture schedule or a playlist that might match the interests of the young adult. So.
Right. Yes. And so equipping, training volunteers is a lot about this ministry too, which they can take back then to their homeschool co-ops, to their churches, to their state organizations, homeschool organizations that put on conferences. So there's a bigger picture behind the volunteer training as well as the family respite that we at SPED Homeschool are super excited about, because we know that you need that network not just 1 week a year.
Right.
You need it on a constant basis. And so to train willing hearts and willing hands who are willing to come for this week and to get that training and to just say, yes, I'm open to being used by God and learning how to be more inclusive in my life. Yeah.
Right. Great skills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. So we've been doing a lot of programming too. And that's, of course, when you go to camp, you don't just go to camp because you're at a beautiful place, although I could probably spend a week here just doing nothing. It's so pretty and it's a lot cooler than it is in Texas. We're actually in Stewartville, Minnesota, at a beautiful ranch called Ironwood Springs Christian Ranch. And they have been so accommodating. It's all wheelchair accessible. We've got horses and trail rides and pony rides. And the kids tomorrow are even going to paint like the physical horse. Some kids thought it was just going to be, we're drawing a horse and painting the picture of a horse. No, we're actually putting paint on the horse. And so we've got a zip line, a water slide or giant water slip and slide that goes down this really scary hill. So a variety of different things that we're going to be doing, pushing people outside their box.
A camel named Clyde.
Yes. There's a lot of things, but we're also building in that educational component too, because we know that our parents, they're teaching and they want to know, well, equip me. And so you go to homeschool conferences and people speak at you, but we wanted people to come to interact with you and to show you hands-on ways to increase learning in your home. And so Kathleen from Right Start Math is one of our partners coming in. We also have virtually Carol Brown from Equipping Minds is coming in tomorrow to teach brain training games. And then we've got another one of our partners from up in the Twin Cities who do therapy type games, and they're coming on Thursday. But so these families are going to have some more quiet time between all the crazy time to be doing some interactive learning games and taught by professionals that have created these products or created these methods to help their kids learn better. So Kathleen, I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, I'm delighted that I can be part of this. This is such an honor to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what we have today's event, Brain Games is what it's called. And what we're doing with that is we're going to practice our math facts with card games.
Yeah.
So rather than, because you have to practice. You have to practice anything to get better, whether it's swimming or horseback riding or math. You need to practice it. Well, how do you practice math? You could do worksheets. Or you
not at camp. They're not allowed at camp.
No, and nobody wants to do that. Never mind at camp. It's not really something you want to do. You don't want to do worksheets. You don't want to do flashcards. So Dr. Conter, who developed the games that we're going to be playing today, they're actually games to help the children practice what they've learned. So not knowing who's coming in with what, I have opportunities for the children to play fraction games, to play just simple addition games, to do multiplication games. Mm-hmm. I even have some games that we can use to practice your money skills. Mm-hmm. So again, it's not a worksheet. It's something that's fun. We can do it together. We can sit around a table and laugh and have fun and enjoy ourselves while learning. Yeah. And that's what we have here today. So I'm excited to see who we get and who wants to do what and how it works.
Yep. So we'll have 2 different time slots for that today for our campers and then a whole lot of other things mixed in between. And so I'm excited for them to interact with you too. And that's one of the wonderful things is, a lot of our families, they see these curriculums and they need to see a face.
Yes.
There are people behind our partners that care deeply about you. And, I personally interview all of the resources listed on our website. I know I said that last week when I kind of had a guest that got sick and I ended up talking for an hour straight with you. If you missed that, go back to that broadcast. It covers a lot of FAQs that you probably wanted to know and didn't really care about. But anyways, but there are people with great big hearts behind all the partnerships that we have developed, and they really want to see you be successful in your homeschooling. And so we are super excited. And actually, Barb is one of our partners too. And you've got a new online course that you've been selling through empoweredhomeschool.org. And just like a week and a half ago, we actually purchased empoweredhomeschool.com, which now goes to that too. So that was a huge win for us. That's a URL I've been waiting to come available. So you can go to empoweredhomeschool.com, empoweredhomeschool.org, and you'll find Barb's new product, which is a transition product.
Yep, focused on transition and really taking the focus on parents, teachers, and advocates, and getting advocates, anybody living with a disability, to be able to use their own voice in their process from being a young adult and entering into adulthood. So we really, set them up for success and expressive communication by prompting different things that will lead them from, what is the big dream that they have for their life after school? Mm-hmm. What's their story? What's their whole journey growing up and their learning process? How do they learn different? How do they experience the world? So telling their own story and writing a narrative about that, and then moving into helping other people know about how they communicate, whether they use whatever mode of communication they use. And then just focusing on strengths and areas of need for support. So doing a strengths assessment and really focusing on that strengths-based approach to help them then choose what type of career path they might want. So matching their skills and interests, abilities to job choices in the future.
So many parents need that help. It seems so confusing when you look at the big picture, but you've broken it down into the modules to make it more understandable. Right.
So just doing, some video tutorials to walk through each little component, because it's such a big process. And so, that's kind of the idea is that we want to support parents to do that. If you have another professional that you're working with, to offer, here's the whole portfolio that our young people have created, and you can take that into adulthood and don't have to repeat the same thing over and over and over again.
So that's awesome. And I'm so excited that our partners are now putting more products on there. And so check that out, definitely. And people have been asking already, the parents, after last night, they came in from 2 to 3. We had an orientation meeting at 4. Then we had dinner, and we kicked off with the kickoff meeting and then a kickoff party, and then went right to the pool. And the discussion around the pool is what I heard last night was, they are going to do this next year, aren't they? And one mom even said, if we only had tonight, this was the best vacation we've ever had. Oh. So I just want you to know that it has been impactful already to the families that have been here. And we have reassured them that between SPED Homeschool and Joni and Friends, yes, this retreat will continue here. And Joni and Friends, because I've actually been working on staff with them as well as being the CEO of SPED Homeschool. And so I'm just a little busy. But they would really like to see this program continue, not only in this state, but we're going to be talking about replicating it and growing it into more states, working in conjunction with the state homeschool organizations and then SPED Homeschool. So it's we know this is what really you need. We understand that we can provide you virtual resources, but they only go so far. You need a community. You need to connect locally. You need respite, and you need to know that we can create an inclusive community to give you rest and to renew you, and especially in your faith life. That's where we're grounded. And so we're super excited. So thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Any last comments you want to share or stories that from already?
I've just heard several people say their kids had not interacted with other children. They may have been at locations with other children, but not interacting. And they saw in less than half a day, they were interacting and talking to other children and playing games with them. And it was a big part was their volunteers were there helping them through it, not mom or dad. And mom and dad were sitting back and watching, and tears were coming down. They were so excited.
Yeah. And this has been impactful, I think, on the volunteer point of view, is we have had full families volunteer. So moms come, like our our children's program director, she came with her 2 young girls, and her young girls have been just pitching in and helping. And so even though they're typical, they're interacting with kids with some disabilities, and there's no difference. No. It's just, you're part of camp.
Yeah. I have to say that it's probably one of the best experiences in inclusion that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And I have to thank you for your vision and for going through this whole process to see that this happens, and that you're just in that space to facilitate the whole thing. So thank you. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the week looks like. It's an amazing opportunity for social and emotional learning and experiences coming out of a pandemic and being so isolated, and just seeing everybody come together like this. It's just very inspiring, and it's beautiful. So,
thank you. So definitely be paying attention to our website for dates coming for 2023. Yes. Yeah.
We use volunteers.
Yeah. Well, and share the need if that's coming to your state. Just for volunteers, because we know there's families desperately wanting this. We've had people travel from Florida and Illinois just to come here as families, but then also volunteers from as far as Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas. Barb's from Washington,
North Dakota.
North Dakota, yeah. So we have quite the mix of representation across the United States already, and so we know that there's a lot of ways that people will be willing to go the mile just to help, because our hearts have been softened and God has called us. So all right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and I'll be back again in Texas next week and have a guest, just one, not 3, and they won't be sitting next to me, which I'll really miss. But next week, we're going to continue talking about IEPs. This is what we've been focusing on this month. And we're going to talk about gaming strategies and record keeping for IEPs. And so you'll want to definitely stay in tune for that. But thanks all for joining us for this special episode of Empowering Homeschool Conversations. Have a great week. God bless. And we'll see you all then.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, I'm Beckett Cook, host of The Beckett Cook Show. I lived as a gay man in Hollywood for many, many years until I had a radical encounter with Jesus 13 years ago. Since then, I've gotten my master's degree in seminary and published a book called A Change of Affection. On my podcast, The Beckett Cook Show, I sit down with fascinating Christian scholars and thinkers to address the lies of the culture and bring the biblical truth to bear on those lies. To start listening now, go to lifeaudio.com or search for The Beckett Cook Show on your favorite podcasting platform.